Joe Lappin. I'm a project manager at the Deputy Mayor's Office. And also, this evening for the Deputy Mayor's Office is William Lee. The basic format here, and thank you very much for coming out this evening, and thank you to the church for hosting us and the charter school. The basic format is, I think as most of you know, we have 4 development teams, each with their own development proposals for parcel 23 or the Econo site. We're going to give each team 15 minutes to make a presentation, show you what they're thinking for the site. I will leave approximately 5 minutes after each presentation to ask a few questions that you have. There will also be some wrap-up question time at the end. I want to make sure that folks get their questions answered if you in fact have them. Also, in the back of the table, there's note cards. So if for some reason you're not comfortable raising your hand to ask the question, or write a question down, I'll read it off to the teams. Again, if it's specific to one of the 4 teams, we'll handle it after the presentation. If you forget to ask it then, or perhaps it's more general, we can handle it with a quick wrap-up session at the end. And then from there, moving forward, as far as the Deputy Mayor's Office goes, we will be moving forward with the teams to kind of refine what they're showing here tonight, to do best and final offers from each of the teams, as well as leaving time for the community and the ANC to do whatever they would like to do as far as process and making any recommendations or having any input into the selection process. So with that being said, I think we're just going to go kind of alphabetical order. There's no mathematics as far as how we pick the 4 teams tonight, and just present them in order and go from there. Is there any questions about how we're going to do this evening before we get started? Okay, great. So I'm going to turn it over to the A&R development companies who are going to start by virtue of the letter A, and we'll go from there.
Thank you. Good evening. I know you can't hear me. Good evening. My name is Ross from A&R Companies. We're very excited to be here tonight. I'm here with me, Jack, with BKV Architects. We're coming to talk to you about our story and about our thought process of this project. The history of A&R. When we approach any projects, we approach these projects. They're more than just buildings. They're about people. They're about connections. So when we sat down and tried to figure out our story, we came up with a theme, and we went through the theme with you about inspiring new connections. A&R is a family-owned organization. We've been around for 35 years. We have done more than $1 billion in real estate development, more than 1 million square feet of commercial and community space. We've done about 8,500 residential units. And our focus has been on transit-oriented developments around transit stations. We are known for transforming some of the many communities in Washington, D.C. Our architect, Jack, has been around since, I'll let him talk about himself when we get to that part of the presentation, for almost 35 years as well. And they've done work around the country transforming this kind of neighborhood into a boutique-style urban design. And we can talk about A&R. We'd like to talk a little bit about our strength and who we are. Our focus is on people-focused design. When we begin our project, we really begin our design by understanding the communities we're trying to develop and how we can create more than just a building, more than just a real estate project. And because of that, we've been around for a long time, and we focused on building projects around urban landfill, in working with the community to deliver and have a very solid track record over the past 35 years. So when we decided to actually do this project and participate in this competition, we said, what can we do in order to begin to understand the neighborhood that we're developing? It's all about the people of Shaw. So we met with many stakeholders we've met with many community leaders, but we also start walking the neighborhood, start meeting with some people who've been here for a long time. And these are samples of some of the quotes that we've heard from them. And people said that this neighborhood, as you know, has transformed over the past, has changed over the past 10 years. As you know, there's this is a picture of the giant, and there's the transformation next door that our church and his team has done over the past several years. And also, people love this neighborhood because it's walkable. It's close by many of the amenities that Washington, D.C. has to offer. And people really feel that this is a great place to be, that, close to a lot of nearby amenities. And people feel it's cool. It's the hip place to be, and obviously there's an anchor institution that is like the church that has been here for 150 years, and there are also other places that are new. So how do we then take all of that and come up with a story? And the way that we approach any development is we really have to tell a story that people can understand, that can relate to the day-to-day aspects of their life. How can that story change and impact them? So we came up with this theme, which is inspiring new connections. Again, our project is more than just buildings. How do we take that social concept of inspiring new connections across all levels, in family, community, and supporting local businesses? How do we take that development program, essentially, that social concept, and transform it into a building that can connect the people all the way from the private space to the public space? And so we sat down with our friends and said, Jack, how can we do that? How can we do that in a building?
Well, the concept of having architecture help with a transformative effort on this vacant parking lot and transform it into really an intersection project at 8th and O. There's wonderful things happening in this neighborhood. There's wonderful resurgence and a growing vibrance, and really that can be translated into the overall design vision. And as a metaphor for that, the concept, as with a lot of our work around the country, our office is over in Georgetown here in D.C. We've been here for 4 years, and I'm the founding partner of our firm and do exclusively urban mixed-use infill development of a moderate scale and size. And that's why this project is particularly interesting to me, to my associate partner Willie Bermudez, is because it's an opportunity to take a wonderfully scaled neighborhood and really transform that with this new building into something that it already is. And as a metaphor for how we view this, is an urban porch, an opportunity for people to gather together. The porch is a wonderful analogy, both for a dialogue with your friends and neighbors, and to meet new people as they move past your porch. And as I walked up and down O and 8th and looked at all the wonderful homes and emerging businesses and new buildings, the whole concept of taking this and using it as a metaphor for developing the overall architecture. The concept here from 8th and O and along O, there's obviously in the 4 blocks here, there's a whole transformation with all the new buildings and the new retail opportunities. As you go west, there's much more of a residential feel. As you go south, but between the convention center and O, you have really a wonderful outdoor neighborhood, outdoor courtyard with the residences, the church, and this new building opportunity on the site. So we really were concerned, as with all of our work, that our work is really generated out of the context of the community. It's fresh and it's new, but it's inherently embedded in the texture and scale. So the concept of taking this 12,000 square foot rectangular parking lot, getting rid of the parking lot feel and moving into a new building, something that's 9 stories in height, but not just the basic box that's extruded from the site, but the concept of developing a 4th and 5th floor plinth line that relates to the residential structures and the sort of roof spring line of the church, and developing that as a horizontal line that extends from 8th to O, and then developing that with rotating the upper 5 stories of the proposed building we're talking about, so that we end up creating a very strong sort of plinth line as the 5th floor roof, 4th And then from that point, developing a building that's tall like the rest of the buildings along low. But again, as we did that, to be able to create 4 different levels of terraces so that the external community, as you all walk through your neighborhood and see the building, you see a relationship scale-wise, not a 9-story wall sort of emanating straight from the sidewalk, but a horizontal layering. And then the residents within the building also have that horizontal layering as a part of their personal terrace community as they look outward to the community. So this is illustrated here in this wonderful section along 8th. 8th is really a beautiful residential scale, much like as you go west on O, and at the same time, at the intersection of 8th and O, is this convergence of the O Street Promenade meeting the sort of linear courtyard residential feel of 8th. And with that, we also have this the mass shape of the church, and then the base mass of our brick podium base for the residential building, relating architecturally as you look from O down to the convention center along 8th. And then our residential building in the setback courtyard here extending up and forming a 9-story building similar to the other structures along O. But the concept that we're developing here is really a development of 2 building fabrics, both horizontal and vertical, to create this demarcation point at 8th and O. And the functional ground floor plan is really, I think, the most exciting opportunity here, because we have really 3 separate opportunities. We have a retail opportunity along O, and we're talking about recessing our retail front here, opening that up with linear doors or overhead glass doors so that we can embrace an outdoor cafe potential, but at the same time keep that movement along O so that it's fluid, but it gives you a time to be able to interface with the retail on O. Then as you come around the corner, this area right here is our community space. This seats over 100 people. It's an outreach space that can work both with the DC cultural community, art program efforts, with other community groups, obviously with the church, and to bring together in this indoor room that's combined with an outdoor linear porch element. That's what these elements represent. Because really this is our urban porch, which connects and centers and works with the community room so that this area here can be outdoor art and evolving communication and art function that really celebrate the history of Shaw and also help bring people together for conversation about, do you love that piece of art or don't you? Do you love that message? You know, how does it relate to you? How do you connect to it? Then as we move down, we've got the parking area. There's designated parking for the church, about 25 spaces. There's another residential in the 2 lower levels for 60-car parking for the housing. And together, these 3 functions, retail, community space, and the residential entrance, and the urban porch and cultural art space along 8th, represents the fundamental elements at the streetscape. Then as we move to how the building moves up from the streetscape, we've got the in and out access of the flow of the courtyard, of the outdoor art area connects with the indoor community room, and then how we're opening up the retail area as well, because we want the entire community room, outdoor porch, art gallery area, and the retail area to be very transparent at the ground floor. So we're really taking that 25 approximate perimeter sidewalk area and really merging it with the interior space so we enhance that overall accessibility. And to be able to pull that 8th and O intersection together, connect it down 8th, and then immerse it within the ground floor functions. That all working on basically a 4-story building plinth. So when you're at the streetscape, you're not feeling a 9 or 10-story building, you're really feeling a 4 and 5-story building. And I think that's very important, especially along 8th. And then as you rise up in the building, the series of terraces give you those phenomenal views as a resident out to the community. So these are just various renderings showing the main porch area to see the transparency between the indoor community room area and then the outdoor art and presentation areas that create these series of seating areas for the public that work with the courtyard. This is the entrance to the residential part that's set back in its own little mini courtyard so that you can have a secured access point to the residential. Upper terrace areas here. As you move around to O Street, you see really the vibrance of the O Street retail potential, some canopy elements connecting out to these planter and green wall vertical elements, then a very strong entrance point for a diner, a retail function, again, activating both night and day that access and opportunity along O. Again, you can see our four-story roof edge here with the tower behind.
Jack, so I just want to say a word about local businesses. We're very committed to local businesses. Last project that we've done, completed Rhode Island Road, top of the metro station, we've done significant retail and residential on top, and the anchor tenant there is Carolina Kitchen. And not to say that this would be the retailer here, but the point is that we will work very closely with the local community in identifying the retail options for the neighborhood. Through the process, we speaking with the senior and others in the neighborhood, we feel that a marketplace like local retail diner for families would be appropriate. So we'll continue to have relationships with retailers all across regionally and nationally. We're confident that as we progress this, we'll find the right retail for that neighborhood.
This also begins to see how the upper part of the building, I really like the way this line really relates to that rhythm of the architecture along 8, the 3- and 4-story buildings, and then this is approximately the same height as the spring line on the church. And then, much like the church with the vertical buttresses, these bay windows that come off the upper 5 stories of the residential area and the recessed balconies create a very thin and vertical element working well with, I think, the buildings along O, because this 8th and O is really a focal point center for that 3 or 4 block convergence of retail. The whole concept of not only having that openness and that sort of connectivity at the neighborhood for the street level is also the 4 different terrace levels. By stepping the building in the architectural massing, we're able to create these private terraces for residents. We're able to create the 8th and 9th story terrace area. This one overlooking the Washington, D.C. skyline. And then the final aspect of this design, hopefully, is a connectivity, a connection and a sense of community, both at the street level, where we've got the retail restaurant piece here, a seating area right at the corner, the cultural arts area there outside the community room, and then the residential entrance as 3 distinct urban rooms connecting the building to the streetscape. And then the overall architecture connecting with the brick massing to the overall texture of the surrounding neighborhood, and then the vertical building area really rising above that to create a sense of verticality at the location along O.
Thank you, Chad. As you can see, our design vision and concept and story was from the very beginning about taking a concept that's more than just a parking lot and transforming that into the theme of giving options to family, supporting connectivity within the community, and also support local businesses. And the way we do that is A&R has been around for a long time, and this is our tagline, the power of we have the capability to partner with the local community and deliver. And we've been delivering for communities for a long time, and we continue to do that. And this engagement process is only beginning because of the aspect of the way that we approach real estate development, and because of the way that we are bringing the cultural art aspect to all the way to the public realm. We will continue to work with the community throughout the design process, throughout the even after see as we've been having discussions with Sean Main Street as well as Cultural DC about working with the communities to curate local art to go into these spaces, which will be an ongoing process. So we look forward to continuing to partner with you to continue this forward. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Okay, great. Two quick things before we do any questions for this team. First of all, in addition to thanking the Immaculate Conception Church and the Center City PCS for use of the space, I want to thank ANC 6E and Commissioner Padra specifically for helping organize this and promote and make sure the word got out so we can have everybody involved. So thank you very much for that. I also had invited each of the teams to prepare, one-pagers that could be takeaways if they wanted to do so. So I would say that any of the teams that did that, I would ask that you leave those on the back table so that if people come and go, they could grab that when they come or go. So with that, do we have any questions specific to this proposal that's been presented? Yes, sir.
Today, we wait for a paper from the City Association, where did actually get out regarding this need that we had. One of the developers actually contacted our civic association, the other organizations that probably was not privy to this. But I want to ask a question about the affordability. Can you give us some numbers regarding the affordability of
In our proposal, we have 9 affordable units that will go from ranging income up to about between 60 and 80% in. I'm sorry, total 85 units.
How many? How many units? 85 units?
9 units in our proposal. Total number of units? 85 units. Yes. There are some, one level, half the parking level will be on grade behind the ATM, and then the parking below that as well. Who would be? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
The church is 25 parking spaces.
We will work with the church on maintaining the spaces. These spaces will be dedicated for the church. The spaces will be dedicated for the church.
Dedicated meaning we would set a control by the church.
They'll be controlled by the church. They'll be available for the church to use 24/7.
Are the parking spaces provided for free or is the church paying?
So we didn't mention, this is a condo, we propose a home ownership program. So
It's
not a rental
it is,
unit, so
so
the
the parking will come with it.
He's asking for the church, I believe, right?
The 25 spaces, parking spaces for the church, will the church be paying rent?
No.
So they're going to be free?
Yes, it'll be available to the church for consideration.
Okay, and I did receive one written question/comment. I think it pertained to architecture and the desire for, dynamic architecture. I believe the architectural concept was presented and addressed. There was also a comment regarding net zero buildings, I think, or green focused buildings. And if you care to comment on that, or as any other team presents on their architecture.
The top floor will have a green roof. The terraces will be about 20 to 30% accessible, and the rest will be green roof oriented. And the general building design and materiality and systems within the building will be, I think, state-of-the-art, sustainability focused, because that's basically what the residents demand and should have.
Great, thank you very much. I'm going to invite the next team up to present their concept, and then we can do another quick round of questions and keep it moving. Thank you.
Hey, how you doing?
Before they get started, one other quick thing. I want to give my phone number and email address in case there's any ongoing questions about the process. Sure, sorry about that. I'm going to give my phone number and email address. Is it working? Yeah. My phone number and email address. Okay. So again, my name is Joe Lappin. Guys, I'm just going to talk loud. Okay, so my email address is Joseph, Joseph, .Lappin, Lapan, @dc.gov. And my phone number is 202-374-6173. Questions about process or how you can provide input, feel free to reach out. Thank you.
We seem to have a little bit of technical difficulty, but I will talk loudly. If anybody's having trouble hearing me, please raise your hand as I'm talking, and I'll try to raise the volume back up if I start to trail off. My name's Stan Beaudry. My company is 4 Points LLC. We are a Shaw-based CBE development company. I'm here with my partner, Warren Williams of the Warrenton Group, we are a 100% CBE development team, both teams have a lot of experience here in the Shaw neighborhood. You'll remember my team as we've been in this neighborhood, although not in ANC 6C. We've been up in Ward 1 working on Progression Place, which is the UNCF Teach for America National Urban League headquarters, as well as the apartment buildings there, Right Proper Brew Pub, Mockingbird Hill, Uprising Cafe. We've been working in this neighborhood with neighborhood groups for some time and have a lot of familiarity with it and a lot of affection for this neighborhood, as well as sort of an appreciation for some of the transition that's happened over the last several years. Warren mentioned a few of his projects in the neighborhood as well.
Oh, sure. Well, hey, you know what? There's something really spooky going on. So, I'm going to stay away from that microphone. Somebody's got something, there's something extra weird going on.
There's
right
something
now.
up here ringing too.
Okay.
Is this somebody else?
All right. Yeah. So,
Background music.
yeah. There's a lot going on.
Hello, that's right. Good question.
So Warren's company developed, I'll give this story because I know this story. Warren's company is the developer of 2M, which is over by Union Station, as well as the West End Library and a number of other projects. And then our companies have worked together on developments in Silver Spring and also in Ward 7 up on Benning Road. But you'll see that our project is a little bit different than anyone else's, and so I will spend a little bit of time focused on some of the differences between between our project and what some others might be presenting. We are partnered with the Scripture Cathedral Church as the contract purchasers for the property next door to the parcel in question tonight. So if you go to the next slide, you'll see that there is. So just to orient everyone, this is O Street, this is 8th Street here, and so this is the parcel that is the parking lot, the city's parcel, and then this is the Scripture Cathedral parcel, which we are under contract to purchase. As I said, we're partnered with Scripture Cathedral, so that goes all the way over to 9th Street. So what you'll see is that our proposal, I said, brings these two sites together and makes for what we believe is as a much more appealing overall development by being able to sort of build upon some of the work that the roadside's already been doing, and Dante's partners and the team at Oak Street Market, which is just to the north of this site, to bring that retail and activate that from 7th and really connect all the way over to 9th Street. And I said just to continue on with sort of the fabric that's already starting to be created in the neighborhood. The other real advantage that this gives to us by combining the sites is being able to bring vehicular traffic off of 9th Street, keeping away from the sort of this the 8th Street residential edge, and to be able to sort of carry that alleyway through. We're able to widen this space in the central core to allow for truck loading and unloading in the interior of the site, as well as to bring sort of all the vehicles down the ramp into the parking area. And then we're able to, you'll see a little bit, if I can hold my pointer still, we've got a very narrow alleyway here now, a 10-foot wide alley, which makes for very difficult circulation. But by having both sides of this property, we're able to apply for going through the zoning process. We're able to apply for what's known as a temporary alley closure, which allows us to excavate under and then open this back up and widen that alley by 5 feet on each side, so that we end up with a very generous 20-foot wide alleyway that gives you plenty of room to circulate and to work sort of through the site. And then, as I said, as we go up in the plan, we'll show you how we bridge back